Alas, it is the final Project Game Day postgame show of the 2024-2025 season. Does anyone know how long it takes for stenciling to come off a car? Will the snow handle that? I'm Glenn.
I'm Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin's here. The rest of the crew struggling. I get it. I understand. Project Game Day postgame show is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. The Ravens season ends with a 27-25 loss to the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. We know what the story was today. They turned the ball over 3 times. They lost the turnover battle 3-0, and we'll overcomplicate it and we'll overanalyze it, but at the end of the day, that's how the season came to a close. And first up will be our Super Bowl 35 champion, Femi Ayanbadejo. And Femi, there's other things we can talk about, but this really is about as simple as that as far as this game is concerned.
No, there's nothing else to talk about. You have to play a clean game. Defense did great in the second half. Both sides of the ball got pushed around in the first half, in my opinion. But the story of the game is the turnovers. I mean, we can talk about the fumble. They if Mark Andrews catches that ball and I know he's trying to make a play and make it a bigger play, but they were ball hawking all night, and you don't want to take that type of want to out of a player, to just catch a ball and go down. But some days it's just like, hey, we're moving the ball on them if we take care of it. If we just take care of the ball, we're moving the ball on them. Even Tylan Wallace almost fumbled on that 26-yard catch. The ball got knocked out again. Luckily, he caught it between his legs. I give Buffalo a lot of credit, man. They knew what they needed to do. They needed to create turnovers. That's the only way they were going to win, and they created 3 of them. And that's really the story of the game. I feel terrible for Mark Andrews. I really do, but damn, you got to catch that ball. I mean, I just don't know what else to say. And that's the game. There's really nothing else to say. I mean, you take care of the football, you probably win the game. That's just the reality of it.
Everybody wants there to be like bigger picture stuff. I think what you just said there is true. Like the Bills had to have other things go right for them because mano a mano, the Ravens were going to be the better team tonight. They were the better team. And even as things went wrong, when the turnover battle was 2-0, they still had the opportunity to win the football game. But they just put themselves in hell. And look, they still marched down and had a chance. And to your point, like this will. The Mark Andrews thing, man, you're almost sick about it because this dude is way too good of a football player for his identity now to be as much about his playoff shortcomings as it is about anything else. It's almost like the Lamar storyline, except with Mark, it's real, right? Like it's real. With Lamar, it was always a forced, contrived narrative. With Mark, it's the real deal. Like he's had his absolute worst moments as a pro in these biggest spots, and you're sick about it because the answer isn't, well, you can do better. Mark Andrews is a great football player, but God, it's just sickening for it to come in these moments.
Yeah, he's had 4 or 5 of these, I think. You go back to Tennessee back in 2019. I know there was another one. I can't remember which playoff game it was, but it doesn't honestly, dude. Like
Yeah, I get it.
Let's not. I
get it. I completely get it.
But I just wish, and Lamar. I know that Lamar had pressure in his face, and he just threw that corner up. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that like all season. Just throwing a ball up like that. It's been a long time since I've seen him do something like that. Just unnecessary, And then trying to make a play, ball slips out of his hand, But he recovered. He ended up playing pretty well, especially in the second half of the game. And man, Justice Hill, dude, man, that dude's a gamer, bro. Justice Hill's a gamer. And Derrick Henry played pretty well in the second half too. The offense was humming. They were moving the ball. I really, this is, obviously, I guess our last call of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't need. We don't. Hey, you know how I feel right now. You know what I mean? I can make up a storyline for you, but it wouldn't be genuine because we know what this game came down to.
And that's the end of it. They turned the ball over 3 times. Let's bring in the NFL chick, Reeta Hubbard. The Project Game Day postgame show is brought to you by the CIAA tournament. Baltimore welcomes the excitement of the Food Line CIAA men's and women's basketball tournament at the CFG Bank Arena from February 25th to March 1st. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Rita, there's not a whole lot more to say. You turn the ball over 3 times. This is what's going to happen.
I have no idea why the internet thinks that this is a coaching problem. If you look on Twitter right now, they're like, "Oh, Harbaugh ain't turned the ball over 3 times." That's what I do know. Okay, the Buffalo Bills, from a personnel perspective, are not better than the Baltimore Ravens. What the difference was in this game was turnovers. And here's the thing, guys. We don't like to critique Lamar Jackson because we hold Lamar Jackson close to the chest. We know all the criticism that he's dealt with since his coming into the NFL. And because of that, we are very careful and safe about how we as a fan base deal with Lamar Jackson. That doesn't help anything. Lamar Jackson had 2 turnovers today. Did Tyler Lindenbaum have a messed up snap? Sure, but he has to fall down. And that's the case. And then Mark Andrews has an unprecedented day where he turns the ball over and then he doesn't get a 2-point conversion as well. So I don't know why y'all want to sit here and blame coaching when execution is the problem. One thing about me, though, I don't have patience for that. Get your bias out your ass. Okay? Get your bias out your ass. Because at the end of the day, the guys on the field is why this game ended up being the way that it did. One team had 3 turnovers, one team had none. And usually in those types of games and those types of situations, the team with 0 turnovers wins the football game. It is literally just math here. And I'm trying to understand why y'all want to. The only thing I can come up with is that you want to blame Harbaugh because you don't like him. And look, have we all been critical of Harbaugh at some point? Sure. Harbaugh ain't why they lost that game today. And I have a problem with people blaming everybody else, but the people that were actually involved in the turnovers. And as much as we love Lamar here on this show, on this post-game show, we love Lamar Jackson on this show. He threw an ill-advised pick, and he had a turnover on a fumble that I think many of us would have liked for him to go down. And that's just the reality of it. And I don't know why it's anything more than what you saw on the TV. So you have that many turnovers, you're probably not going to win the game. And that's what happened.
Let me ask a question to both of you just for the sake of it. And I acknowledge that I think the answer is simplistic. Is there any debate about them going for 2 the first time? In a
No, because Isaiah Likely was actually open.
Well, the play was there. There's no question.
He just went to the wrong person. So,
right.
So the two attempt doesn't bother me more so than the fact of he just did not hit the right guy.
No,
in my opinion.
I certainly agree the play's there. I think the only question is it early? Is it so early in the game that you put yourself in a position where you're chasing points later?
Okay, but the thing is though, Glenn. Okay, if you the point, they lose by 1.
Right.
No, you go get it because you know you're going to need it at some point. I like going for it because if you don't get it the first time, you know you absolutely have to get it the second time. So you have time more on your side when you do it earlier. You have less time on your side when you do it later. I like the aggressiveness, so I have no problem with that.
I'm going to tell you, I probably am in agreement with you. Like in the moment, I was certain it was 100% to me, and the moment afterwards, I had a second guess of like, oh, okay, did we talk about it? There's 137 left in the third quarter. I don't think you can assume that you're playing the thing out long enough that there's no chance that you don't need it. I just don't think that you can go back and do it. If it's 137 in the second quarter, I don't think I'm making the same decision there that you have to tie the game up in that moment. But I'm probably with you guys that it's the right decision in that moment, and there's really nothing else that you can do. I do think some of the questions that'll come in were, did it seem like they got away from Derrick Henry early? They obviously went back to him in the second half. But did it feel like in the first half they started to get away from Derrick Henry too much?
No, absolutely not. This, and I know we're looking for storylines here, but I'm not going to take the bait. Not taking the bait. I have no problem with the play calling. I have no problem with the execution, other than the fumbles. Yes, they were stopping Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was not successful in the first half, and you're behind 21-10. You know what I mean? So, and Justice Hill played a hell of a game, because when Derrick Henry's out, Justice Hill's in. I go look at Justice Hill's stat line, man, highly productive. So to me, it's not just about one player. When the guy's counterpart is in, how does he do? Justice Hill did his job. He actually outplayed Derrick Henry in the first half. So it's not a Derrick Henry thing. It's not a play calling thing. It's not a 2-point conversion thing. It's a take care of the ball thing. It's an ill-advised interception. It's a just, you got to eat it. You got to know what they've been trying to do all day. You knew that they had to create turnovers to win the game, and that's what they went out and tried to do, and they were successful at it. And 2 of them were on Lamar. And I agree with everything that Reeta said, to be honest. And Reeta, I don't know if you heard me, but I definitely commented on the turnovers. Lamar's pass, let's throw it up there. I don't know when the last time I saw him do that in the game. I can't recall him doing that recently. You know what I mean? And then the fumble, the snap, you just got to eat that. You just got to take that. No sense in making a bad situation worse. We all know the ball is slick. And I think that the part of me that understands, the first down catch by Mark Andrews and his desire to make a play, it's because that's what makes football players great. It's watching Lamar for what, 7 seasons now? Is this his 7th season?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to see him take plays that are broken and keep them alive because of his self-belief is what makes Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson. Are we going to ask him now? The interception, there's no way we can make that okay. That ball should not go up in the air. If it goes up, it's got to go up to the sideline where only your receiver is going to get it. And if you're guessing where he is, it's got to be out of harm's way. The fumble on the snap, how many times have we seen him scoop a fumble up and turn it into a touchdown,
Sure,
or turn it into a first down, or turn it into a big play? I'm not saying it's okay. I agree with everything that Reeta said. And the Mark Andrews fumble, he's trying to get the ball, and guess what? If he wheels out of that, that's probably a 25 or 30 yard more gain after that. There's nobody over there. So I understand why they did what they did. The drop on the 2-point conversion, I can't defend that. That's just a drop. But I do understand the desire to try to make a play. The fumble was him trying to make a play. We've seen him do big things with that. Mark Andrews, I've seen him wheel out of plays. I've seen Isaiah Likely do it. I've seen other players do it. It's just unfortunate that the ball wasn't being protected in both those cases, where if you do get a chance to make a play, great. But if you don't, you cannot lose the ball. I hope you see the nuance I'm trying to make there.
No, can you draw that out more for us? Because I feel like there's a lot of people online who are saying that once you see there's 2 defenders there, you have to know, particularly as a tight end, you just go down in that spot. And I think that the comparison to Lamar is, we'd all say that Lamar never just goes down, right? Like he's Houdini. That's Kevin Harlan's thing. What is the rule there? Like, what is the thought process for an open field runner?
There's no rule. It's a feel thing. And I think that if we all can calm down a little bit, and this hurts, right? Like, because we all kind of felt like, hey, this is our chance. You know what I mean? We have the team, we have the quarterback playing the way he needs to play. The defense has come around. We got one of the best runners in the league. There's not really a rule. You know what I mean? There would be rules based on time and distance. You know what I mean? But in that particular case, there was plenty of time left. And I think, 99 times out of 100, Mark Andrews wheels out of that and turns that into a bigger play. I just think that tonight it's one of those things you want to have a conversation all week about. Hey, it's going to be cold. It's going to be slick. Like some of the things that we normally do, we may not want to do tonight. Bad snap. Hey, we may want to eat it. You catch a ball in the middle of the field, you may want to go down. That's such a hard thing to tell a player to do when it's not what he normally does, because he's so used to taking something that's 16 and turning it into 30, or something that's minus 10 and turning it into plus 10, because we've seen it happen so many times. It's just wild that on those plays tonight, it really bit us on the ass. I can't think of a situation like that recently where it's happened that way. You know what I mean?
I hear everything you're saying. I bring up the comparison to, I think the thing that if I was giving the Bills credit for something in the second half, they weren't going to do anything
to take a
to
risk.
take any unnecessary risk
Yeah.
whatsoever. Now, again, they were playing with the stronger hand, right? They were in front at that point in the game. So I'm not trying to make it apples to apples, but they did a spectacular job in the second half of saying everything's going to be right in front of us. We're not putting the ball up downfield. If they're stopping the run, then we're going to throw short passes and go try to get yards. They were utterly minimizing risk. Is there something to be said for they handled that on the whole better than the Ravens did?
It almost cost them the game, though, because without the turnovers, they lose the game. So no, I'm glad they took no risk. It kept let us get
It
back
took
in
them
the
away
game.
from, yeah.
Yeah, we actually had opportunities. I mean, Mark Andrews fumble. I mean, damn, dude, that's first down with what, like 7 minutes left? How much time was left on that? Maybe
Yeah. Oh,
Griffin
yeah.
can
There
tell
was
us. You know
still.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And first down, and you're on the other side of the 50, I think, aren't you? Would have been
Yes,
like
he was on
45
the other
yards?
side of the 50. Yes.
Yeah, so look at that. I mean, it was 24-19 at that point. At the very least, it's going to be 24-22 probably. You might even go score again, and you go up, actually. It changes the whole dynamic. And it's all because Buffalo got too conservative, and they were able to force a turnover when it really mattered. Like, that turnover is what really that was a play right there, man. Like,
Yep.
but even with that being said, we still had a chance to tie it. The 2-point conversion, I just don't even know what to say, man. I just don't even know what to say.
Make your trip to the game, I guess now, the baseball game, easy by saving the Easy Pass away for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. Reeta, I'm gonna go to you on this one first because I feel like if I was trying to have a reasonable conversation with the people that just want to scream about it, the reasonable thing to say was, well, here it happened again. It happened again. The Ravens came up short in the playoffs. And so why is it going to be different the next time? And that's where someone would say, well, there's got to be some sort of dramatic change. So I'll ask you the question more generically. Why is it going to be different the next time?
It's not.
But you just think they'll always come up short in the playoffs?
Yes, I do. Until they do different. Yes, I do. I think we have to start coming to terms with what this team is. I don't.
I can't. No, I
Oh,
can't.
and
No,
that's fine,
no, 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 no,
Femi.
no. No,
That's
no, no, no,
fine.
no, no, no.
Femi, 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 Femi. Get it. I understand why you would not. We are 7 years into this. They've got nothing out of it. I don't know what needs to change. I have no answers to why they get into the playoffs and these things happen. And the only thing I can come up with is just maybe this is who they are. And maybe this is who they've accustomed themselves to be, where they're good enough to get into the playoffs. But when the lights get bright, excuse me, I'm sorry, they just can't deal with the pressure. I don't want to feel that way, Femi. I want to be clear. I don't want to feel this.
Well, no, but you can feel that.
don't.
I don't feel that way. Okay, you can feel that way. But I'm just saying I'm not going to feel that way. I just don't
Until
agree
they
with
change it, I can't.
I believe they
change
can,
how
though. I believe they can.
see it at this point.
Okay,
How,
it's
how
okay.
many? And
We can agree to disagree.
No. My thing is that I'm saying this to y'all, and I don't feel good about saying that. I don't feel good. It hurts me to say that. It hurts me to say
Can
that.
I give you some perspective?
Absolutely, please do. Please
go look at John Elway's career before he won his first Super Bowl.
Yes,
go look at Peyton
fair.
Manning's career before he won his first Super Bowl. You know
Yes.
how many guys struggled to win a Super Bowl and they got there. Yeah, hey, and then there's the Buffalo Bills. They go to 4 Super Bowls and don't win one. Hey, that's the narrative of it. But Lamar Jackson is just turned 28 years old, right? I think.
Yes, he did.
You know, they didn't have Zay Flowers tonight. You know what I mean? I think they're always retooling in the draft. We're probably going to be right back here again next year, and we'll see if they're able to do it. But you know what, though?
Femi, that's my problem. We're always here every year.
Yeah, but that's good,
and
though.
we're getting the same results.
How many? But results are the same until they change. The question is, can they change? Yes, they can change. To say they can't change means they'll never change, which we know historically is not how things work in this world. That's just not how the world works. If you keep knocking on the door, eventually, at some point, Femi, I believe it will change. And you know what? We don't know, but I think that it's going to serve me better and the people that care about this team better to believe it will change. Because if you don't believe it will change, then why even bother watching and paying attention or being a fan? For what? So because you think you're going to be disappointed.
I question myself regularly.
I don't at all. I'm 1,000. As long as I got breath and a heartbeat, I'm 1,000% committed to this all day, every day, without question. Never, ever wavering. Until it happens, I will be here supportive because I have no choice. It's not a choice for me. This is what I do.
Me saying that doesn't mean I'm not supportive. I want to be clear.
You just said, I'm asking myself the same question. You just said, I'm asking myself the same question.
So I think that me saying that I think that this is going to be who they are doesn't mean I won't support this team. I'm going to support this team regardless. I ask myself, why am I a fan of any sport? This is not just a Ravens thing. This is
okay.
I'm an Orioles fan as well, sir. I'm a Gators fan. I ask myself, why do I deal with fandom on a regular basis? This is who I am. By the way, you look skinny. I just want to let you know you lost some weight. But I feel
it's past January 1st. He's in his
January? Are we on dry January?
He's on that grind. He goes to work.
I mean, I'm not really a big drinker anyway, but yeah, a couple weeks I would say the holidays I was having a little more fun than usual, and all that stuff's gone now. So.
You definitely look great. You look slimmer. Yeah. So I want to just acknowledge that.
Appreciate that.
I just want to say I'm saying this because I think maybe for me, Femi, it might be a sense of me and a defense mechanism at this point. If until they do something different, then maybe that's my mindset of this is just who they are, right? And hopefully one day they'll get over the hump. I don't know what's needed for them to get over the hump. They just had everything.
Hey, listen, let's just be honest. Let's not overcomplicate this. Just take care of the football.
1,000%. And me and you agree with that.
Yeah, you take care of the football, you win the game. That's it. Yeah, it wasn't the play calling. It wasn't any of that.
Right. Why are the lights too bright? And that's my question. I don't understand.
I don't think they are because, Reeta, you got to have a long lens. You can't have a short lens. Go look at historically at who the Ravens are. We're the top 3 winningest team since the franchise has become on board. Coach Harbaugh's won the most road games in playoff history. We have 2 rings. There's teams that don't have any. We constantly are putting people where the front office is constantly recognized. The players are constantly recognized. At some point, if you keep knocking on the door, you will kick that bitch in. I guarantee it. And the point is this.
You brought up the Bills, and they ain't done that.
Well, I mean they're gonna have a chance though. They're gonna go play Kansas City next week, and if they win, guess what? They're in the dance. And then once they win, then nobody can say that, right? I mean, that's the point though. It just takes one. And this is the thing. You already said you're going to be a fan no matter what. I promise you, life is way happier when you're optimistic. Trust me. Being pessimistic and a Debbie Downer and that ain't gonna help you.
Wait a minute. Don't put that on me. I'm a realist. At this point.
Okay. All right. Okay. Look, you don't believe
they have not. No, it's not. I don't believe it because they haven't done it.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, but you just said a minute ago that you don't think that they will. You think this is who they are. You just said that.
I do.
Okay, I don't agree with that. I'm being an optimist. Whatever that is, you're not that. You're the opposite of what I am right now.
I just want to say I'm not a pessimist. Okay. I'm a realist.
All right, let's play with the words. I'm a realist too. Shit,
the fuse is lit, so now we got to bring.
I mean, it's like she's saying this stuff.
Now we got to bring
about it though. It's like, come on now.
Femi, hey, you don't be mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
I know.
I'm not mad at you.
These motherfuckers that turned the ball over 3 times.
I'm not mad at you.
What pisses me off about this game the most is like the Bills don't have nobody. Gave it away. That's the problem that I have. I can't. It's hard for me to sit with that. It is so hard for me to sit with that because this game is yours. All you had to do was not turn the ball over, and you couldn't help yourself. And I just can't understand how we got to this point. I really just don't understand how we got here, and that's what bothers me the most, I think.
Let me do this. PressBox's best of issue is still on stands, and Lamar Jackson is still our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and he will almost certainly still be a 3rd-time MVP here in a couple of weeks. You can pick it up right now for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, and there'll be hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox. You can read it all. PressBoxOnline.com/bestof. All right, as I said, the fuse is lit, so here's Ken Zales. Ken, who do you want to fire today?
Is it Harbaugh today, Ken?
No, it's not. I thought there was one mistake he made in the game, but that's just a me and an old school thing. I know, the play call was perfect. Lamar puts it out there on the first 2-point conversion. It's successful. I just don't like chasing points that early in a game, but that's just a me thing. And then, I do back in my head as the game goes along, as we always do, and things like that. But I understood why they did it. I just didn't like it. I mean, you can't fault the coaching staff today. I mean, they did. It's the players today.
hundred
Mark
Ken,
Andrews.
100.
If I'm going to fire somebody, it's Andrews.
I'm not,
You got
we're
to
not
catch
Nah,
the
but
ball.
firing Mark Andrews.
nobody's firing Mark Andrews.
No, no,
Nobody's firing Mark
but you
Andrews.
know what I'm saying. But just tongue in cheek,
Yeah,
you
it's
understand
unfortunate.
that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying that like it's
No,
unfortunate
nobody's
that he.
fired. But what you all said, I sort of came here to listen because I couldn't get on right away because my mind couldn't do it. Um, but
Yeah, I mean he
you
had a
can't
bad day.
turn the ball over. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost. I sat there during the game and I'm watching and I'm like, the Bills' whole game plan was just not to turn the ball over.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
that was their game plan. They did nothing. They did nothing. I just you if you didn't show the score and you just put up Lamar's numbers and Josh Allen's numbers for the day, you'd be like, oh well, the Ravens won this game.
But
And
turnovers are the
but
equalizer, though, right? You
turnovers
know
are
what I
the
mean?
equalizer. And
Yeah. So
the last thing I said from watching the game was like, the only good point that I thought Romo, and my God, I can't. Thank God I don't have
yeah,
to listen to him
he's getting
anymore.
worse, right? He's getting
Yeah,
worse, huh?
he is. He was so good at the beginning. But the one thing that he kept on harping on that he was correct about is that the Ravens are one of those few teams because of what they are offensively that can come back from turnovers and remain in the game. A lot of teams, 3 turnovers, it's over. Like we're not even talking about the
Like
Ravens being able to come
Detroit and
back.
Washington last night, dude. Like that.
Yeah, like that. Like Detroit turned the ball over, it's over. It's like the Ravens are still like you never thought that the Ravens were out of this game, even with the turnovers.
Yeah, because
But
the Bills ain't that good. They're
but
not
they're
better than
not.
them. That's why.
But we said this, and I caught the tail end, and I don't want to bring up whatever is going on between the two of you again. But at some point, when you're the best team in the league, you got to win. You got to win it. And for two, I just feel for 2 straight years now that they were the best team in the NFL all season long, and they came up short, and it's self-inflicted in many ways.
Yeah, I know
We're gonna go.
Detroit.
You're gonna go
Hey,
in next year. We're all gonna do. I'm gonna do my spiel again, my shtick, where say they're gonna go 10-6 again, and somebody's gonna remind me there's 17 games because I expect them to be in the playoffs again. I expect them to be challenging for the division. I expect them to host a playoff game, things like that. At some point, they got to get over the hump, and you know, granted, Lamar made 2 turnovers, but for all the people that are going to say he can't do it when the lights shine the brightest, well, he did it with the last drive. He took that team down the field when they had to score a touchdown and scored a touchdown,
I mean,
and
he
then
did it in the
put a
second half.
perfect
The
ball.
whole
That's
second
fair.
half.
He
Second
put a
half, he did it.
perfect ball
Should
in
have
the
had
ball
a
through
2 point
tight end.
conversion. It should have had a 2 point conversion.
So
And he should have
Ken,
had that. So I don't want to hear about the Lamar stuff
no, you're
and
gonna
all of
well.
that stuff.
Well, guess what? Let me tell you a secret. Let me just put you guys on my couch for a minute, okay? Because let me just put you on the couch for a minute.
Dr. Femi.
Rita, and I agree on everything. She's hurting. I get it. We're all hurting, and I understand what she's saying. But she's gonna be a motherfucking fan until she leaves this earth. Let's stop
Motherfucking
playing.
right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And Ken,
am.
guess what? You're gonna do the same fucking thing, and I'm gonna do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Except I'm just gonna sit here and own it and just say like I don't give a damn how long it takes. I'm gonna be right here watching. I don't give a damn if I have no teeth and no hair and a fucking stick. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be cheering the whole fucking time until I lose breath. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yeah, we all got defense mechanisms. We're all upset. I totally get it. But yeah, Ken, you're going to do your shtick all over again. Rita's going to do her shtick all over again. And guess what the fuck I'm going to do? The same thing. We don't have a choice, man.
Yep.
You don't just wake up and go, I'm not going to be a fan today. No, I'm just saying, no. I'm just saying that, like, it's okay. Like, the Detroit fans thought they had the best team in the NFL this year. The Vikings thought they had the best team in the NFL this year. You know how many people feel the way that we feel now? I know that the Ravens and the Lions, I think we can make an argument for. But the Minnesota, we can't make an argument for. But fans are delusional. You know what I mean? The truth of the matter is that even Houston thought they had a chance until they didn't, right? Washington fans are losing their damn minds right now. They are off planet right now. They are in interstellar space, high as a kite. They can't believe where they are. They made the right plays when they needed to. They forced the turnovers, and their quarterback has played flawless. They've done what they needed to do. If they can come from nowhere to the NFC Championship game, you don't think the Baltimore Ravens can find a way to knock that door in at some point in the next year or two or three or multiple times before the Lamar era is over? I believe they will. I 1,000% believe they will. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'll tell you what. I'm a lot happier when I think about the chance that they could versus the chance that they never will. And that's just a personal choice for my own mental health.
For the record, and I want to state this, and real quick, Baltimore does welcome the excitement of the Food Line CIA men's and women's basketball tournament at the CFG Bank Arena, February 25th to March 1st. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Just to entertain, because Reeta, I know on Twitter all night, was going after people that just wanted to yell about John Harbaugh.
Look, they can go after me all they want. They delusional. And if anybody is listening, if you're mad about what I'm about to say, yes, Glenn, you can do that. I know I'm about to say what I'm.
Oh,
yes.
you say, yeah, you go
delusional. You're
yeah.
delusional.
Yeah.
You're delusional, and you need to get out of your feelings because John Harbaugh doesn't turn the ball over, and John Harbaugh doesn't drop a 2-point conversion that ties the game. I said what I said. Yes. Did Derrick Henry have under 20 carries? And y'all know how I feel about that? Sure. That's not why they lost the game. Get out of my face and get out of my mentions. Thank you very much.
I just want to say this. What Femi just said is always going to be why you guys are going to be disappointed if you want me to scream about, like, the only way something changes is if you make a change. You're always going to be disappointed by this because what Femi just said to me is the thing that I come back to at the end of the night. This sucks. I hate this. Griffin and I were looking at Airbnbs in New Orleans for a couple weeks from now. I was going to get a week in my favorite city in the country. I'm pissed off. I am. But again, I'm capable of saying what Femi just said is true. I expect to be sitting here 1 year from now, hanging out with you guys, talking about playoff games because that's what the Ravens do. And I get it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as hell because you believe they should have won one of these by now in the Lamar Jackson era. You probably believe they should have won multiple of them by now in the Lamar Jackson era. It's complicated. He came into the league at 21. We probably had absurd standards. Jaden Daniels is having maybe the greatest. He's 24. It's a different conversation. Lamar missed 2 years. There's a lot of complications to this that we don't like dealing with, but they exist. But the point is, I have faith that this organization is competent and is going to largely figure things out to be right back in this spot. That if they don't turn the ball over 3 times, they're playing in the AFC Championship game next week. And that nobody wants to hear that right now. You just want to be pissed off. You just want to have somebody to fire. You just want to have somebody to. That's the way that it goes. And maybe part of it is me being 41. And Femi, you and I have talked about how I've changed as a fan because I'm a father and I have more. I'm just not as angry as everybody else is. My life is not impacted by this. And for some of you that don't have that or whatever it is, you lose your mind over shit like this. And I get it. I really do. When I was 24, I probably did too. But it ain't that, it's just not that big to me. And I don't have to defend John Harbaugh because John Harbaugh's, all he ever does is win. Ever. I get that we want more Super Bowls. I understand that, man. I completely get it. There's a lot of other cities where they want more Super Bowls too. There's one that's like got a ton of them.
Hey, Clint, fucking well said, bro. Well said. Really, I mean that sincerely. That was well said. I appreciate you following up with what I said with that because I think it's necessary. And let me just add this. Look at Mike Tomlin. He has a very high floor and a pretty low ceiling. Right, the distance between the height of there's 9 wins right here and there's 11 wins right here, and he lives there. And they have not drafted a quarterback. They have not evolved. They have great leadership. They have a great ownership. But philosophically, they're playing 2005 football on offense. They're playing 2012 football on defense. They are stuck in limbo. And you want to know what frustrating is? Go be a Steelers fan. That's right. What frustrating is.
You're stuck in limbo.
That is frustration.
We have evolved and we have adopted the new style of football in Baltimore. And our coordinators get poached and we go get other ones. And we just run them right in and they play and they understand the play like a Raven moniker, the culture, the expectation, and they get in line. And we're competitive every single year because we continue to take risks and we continue to evolve. And that starts from ownership down to the front office, down to the sideline. Coach Harbaugh has evolved. Andy Reid has evolved. There's a whole bunch of other coaches that haven't. And guess what? Coach Harbaugh's from the Andy Reid tree. So I'm going to take my chances with the guy that I think has amazing anecdotal knowledge based on who he's learned from. He is one of the more tenured head coaches on the sideline, and he's not afraid to change. He's not afraid to become wiser and less angry and more of a player's coach and put a guy like Lamar Jackson at the front of your franchise and say, hey, young man, go play this ball game the way that kids are playing it because there's something special about what you do. We're going to hitch our wagon to you and your style, and we're going to go make it happen. I can get behind that. There's a whole bunch of teams around the league right now that wish they were having the conversation that we have. Now, is it good enough? No, it's not good enough. Is it okay? No, it's not okay. But it's where we are right now. And us getting mad and all the people on Twitter that are in your DMs and hitting you with all this nonsense, they have all this anger and they have nowhere to put it. That's what the issue is. But if they step back and they really take a look of the landscape at the NFL in general, and they really see who's doing what and who's doing it with consistency, there's about enough teams to put on one hand. The Ravens are one of them. And it sucks tonight because they had a chance to make a statement and they got in their own way. The only coordinator that can stop the Ravens is the Ravens. And tonight it wasn't even the coordinators. It was the players on the field.
Yep. I had one more thing too. I also think, and this is a psychology, it's like we're all on the couch tonight, Femi. Like we're all doing a little bit of this. I think that a lot of the anger comes from now I'm gonna have to hear about it on X show, or now I'm gonna have to hear about it. And I can't tell you how much you don't have to watch that shit. You
Yep.
don't.
1,000%.
You don't. You can listen to intelligent people. And I'm not just, this isn't like a selfless plug. Like, it's not just me. There's lots of us that are intelligent, that are willing to talk through these things. And this week, we'll start looking and we'll start talking about what's going to change this offseason and what the priorities need to be and who's not going to be back and what is Ronnie Stanley's future. And, can they talk to Mark Andrews about his contract? We'll have all those conversations. But the people that just want to fall to the lowest common denominator of, oh, Lamar can't do it in the play, you don't have to pay attention to it. You don't. Your life will be okay. I promise you. You're not going to miss anything. Like, you can go for a walk. Well, maybe not tomorrow. It's going to be cold as hell. Don't go for a walk tomorrow. But, other days, just do something. You don't have to. Make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass waive for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. So let's spend a minute on that because we'll be in an entire offseason. We'll do 1 minute on it before we wrap up tonight. Biggest priority for what this team can do to be in a better position by this time next year. What would that be for you? I'll be the one to say it first. Femi, you brought it up with Zay Flowers being hurt. This team needs better wide receiver depth. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman are all good, man. Nobody has a single problem with either one. If you still have a problem with Rashad Bateman, you need to check your head. All the dude ever did was make plays all season long. Those two guys, check. They've got to have more depth behind those guys for when things like this happen, and they're going to happen. It was kind of a miracle that their depth wasn't tested more during the course of the season. And look, we all know they tried to address it during the season. It didn't work out. They need more wide receiver depth behind those guys. They need to be in a better position when something comes up like that. That, to me, is a priority for this offseason. Reeta or KZ, I'll go you next.
I agree with that. I'd like to see Stevens transition to a safety and bring in another corner. I said, I don't know, Glenn and I do this draft thing. Been doing it a long time. When they drafted him as a corner, I was like, he's not a corner, he's a safety. He played corner at the NFL level for a couple of years. I think he's a safety. I've always thought he was a safety. And I think, I think they have to figure out, and I know they keep getting sacks. I know Van Noy, again, had a great year. but they still need to get better. They need to find that sack guy, that special guy on third down that gets after the quarterback. Because man, the Van Noys, I mean, I don't know how long the family youth lives. Femi, you could speak to that more than I can. I don't know how long it's going to live with him, but that's still a priority for me.
Rita?
I just think they need a sports therapist. They need to talk to somebody about getting over the hump. They have the talent. You and I agree that they had a wide receiver depth issue from training camp. We knew that. We knew that they had a wide receiver depth issue. But what we're not gonna do is act like, Tylan Wallace, did he have a 100% catch rate at one point?
He seemed to make.
I think he did.
So
all he did was make big plays. Honestly,
he did.
That's my point. I think it's mental. Point. I'm sorry. I don't even think it's something that they need to add. I agree with KZ that they could add a pass rusher, but weren't they like second in the league in sacks? So, to me, that's nitpicking. We're just splitting hairs. You got to figure out what is going on up here that does not allow you to get to a certain point, because it ain't the talent. Whether that is coaching, which y'all know I don't agree with that being the issue today. Clearly, I do not agree with that. Whether it's coaching, whether it's execution, whatever it is, y'all not doing right up here. I don't know what it is, but you need to figure it out. Because the last 2 years, you've had enough talent to get to the promised land, and you've not been able to do that. And to me, it is no longer about what your roster looks like and more about what it is that you are doing as a team overall. And maybe y'all need to go talk to the lady. We call that talking to the lady when we go to the therapist. So maybe you need to go talk to the lady.
Femi?
Man, I can't really disagree with anything anybody said, actually. To be honest, if we can just keep this team intact, if we could keep all the coaches and all the players and just add depth, I don't mind moving Stevens to safety. He'd probably be a hell of a safety. I know at UCLA he played running back. He played safety and he played corner. He played all three positions. He was probably best as a running back, to be honest. He's not playing running back in the league, obviously, but I think he'd be a hell of a safety. Keenan Mitchell should be healthy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. Definitely need, if I just have to emphasize, I know what the numbers say, but I know what my eyeballs tell me. They did not get enough pressure on Josh Allen tonight. They just didn't. If it got to a shootout where, he had to drop back and really look for people downfield. Now, like you said, he's got a bunch of good players. He's got one great player, and it's Cook. That's it.
Yep.
Everybody else is just good. But they do their role and they play their role and they play their role well, and they just don't make mistakes. Which, hey, that's part of football, not making mistakes. And if the play calling means you make less mistakes and you're going to win a lot of tight games, then God bless you. Good, that's what they do. But I do think that my eyes tell me that they don't get enough pressure on the quarterback consistently enough, regardless of the number of sacks that they have. Because a lot of those feel like coverage sacks to me. They don't feel like when Kyle Hamilton was in the box and, he was blitzing from 3-4 yards from the nickel position. And I know why they're not doing that, because that didn't work for them. If you just take this defense and you can replicate all the numbers on offense and all the numbers on defense and get right back here, I would take it. Honestly, I would. Don't lose a player. Don't lose anybody. Maybe go see the lady and we're good to go. You know what I'm saying? As you like to say, if that's what it's going to take, then hey, I'm cool. But I'll tell you this, though. Derrick Henry is going to be back next year. I expect him to look similar as to what he looked like this year. But there's a cat at ASU named Scatabo. Hey, that dude is a Raven. If there's some way to get Scatabo from ASU and have that dude in the wings ready, waiting, man, go get that kid. I love watching him play. I watch a lot of ASU games. That kid is nasty.
He's a psycho.
He's a beast. He's a Raven. What's crazy is when I saw Derrick Henry at Alabama, I was like, he's a Raven. You know what I mean? And we had a chance to draft him. We didn't draft him. I've been talking about Lamar since he was at Louisville, and I'm glad we got him. You know what I mean? But there was something about his style of play. I was like, he could. I knew what he could be. I saw it. You know what I mean? There's guys that I just watched. Scatabo from Arizona State, he needs to be a Raven. It absolutely needs to be. So if I have one wish for the draft, go get that kid. find a way to get a pass rusher. And KZ, I'm down to go through free agency, man. Let's just go pay a dude that we know is a monster. Like, I don't care. Let's go get that guy. Because I think that really can make a huge difference. I don't care if we just bring everybody else back. I'm good with it. Because remember last year when the defense was like next level, it was because of Jadeveon Clowney. It was because of PQ. There was something, and maybe another linebacker might be a need as well. You know what I mean? So I agree with everything that you guys said, but I think this roster, if we can keep it intact and just plug a couple guys, just find a couple people to, do some work for us, find another really good corner, a good pass rush guy. If we get that kid Scatabo, shit, I'll be happy as hell.
I think it's safe to say that Marcus Williams will not be back as a Baltimore Raven next season.
34-year-old Khalil Mack is a free agent. So keep an eye on that one.
I don't know if that does it. I watched him play all season. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Khalil has had better years.
It's so funny, Femi, because Reeta knows this. I've been obsessed with the edge rush thing for forever, obsessed with it. And yet I'm in this weird hubris place where maybe there just is a special sauce from Chuck Smith. Maybe he really can make more out of these guys. And maybe I'm just drunk on the season that Odafe Oweh had, and that was always going to come. And I don't know. I'm just starting to lean that way a little bit, that I'm not quite as obsessed with, it's got to be all about the edge rush, because they're getting out of guys I did not see Kyle Van Noy having 2 seasons in Baltimore.
Look at you on Chuck Smith's good graces. Look at you.
You gotta give the dude his flowers, man.
Absolutely.
He got the absolute most out of a group that I don't think we could have assumed you were getting the absolute most out of over the last 2 seasons. I don't know what else to say. I'm really starting to get drunk on Chuck Smith, which then makes me worried that someone's going to think he could be a defensive coordinator somewhere, and then we're going to have a different conversation at that point. Yeah. All right. Real quick, a reminder that baseball season is just around the corner. Make all your trips to the games easy by saving the Easy Pass Wave for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. It stings. It sucks. There's no way around it, but we're just going to get back to work. That's the way it's going to go. We'll be doing shows. Reeta and I'll be together Tuesday night over on the Fan. KZ is going to start getting ready for the draft. Femi, I hope that we're all back together again 1 year from now, doing the exact same thing, because
not the exact same thing.
Well, yeah,
A year from now, we're talking about Super Bowl trophies, not the same thing. Because I'm tired of this fucking conversation. I am tired of this fucking conversation.
Ah, God.
I was pretty calm, dude. I was pretty calm. I kept it calm.
No,
right?
You were very calm. You were very calm.
We all know what happened. We started at the same. We could have made this a 3-minute show. There really is only that much analysis. They turned the ball over 3 times. This was gonna happen. We'll deal with the rest when we deal with it, man. Those conversations will come. Appreciate all you guys for everything all season. Love all y'all, and thank you for everyone who tunes in. It's so funny when I hear from people that never chime in during the course of the year, but then they'll be like, "Yo, I love it when Femi yells at KZ. I love it." I appreciate it when you guys say nice things about what we do. That means the world. Thank you.
We're a very passionate group, dog. And at the end of the day, we just got to be like, oh, okay, football does that to people, right? It puts us in a great space when they're winning. This is in a bad space when they're losing. It just is what it is.
Jim Palmer
I love it. Jim Palmer knows ball.
He should replace Tony Romo.
Jim Palmer.
I love it.
God. All right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you to 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, if anybody has a gambling problem, no-cost treatment is available. 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org. Thanks to Griffin for all his hard work during the year. Thanks to PressBox, Femi, Reeta, KZ. Love you guys. Steck, Josh, everybody who's been with us all season long. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been PressBox's Project Game Day.